So the first team is a team that worked on landslides and longer term landscape evolution. So I'll hand the floor to Anna and others.
So, hi everyone. First of all, I want to thank the CSDMS team and also the ESPIn instructors and all the mentors. I think this week was really good, at least for me. I already feel like I became a better modeler and like increasing my modeling way to think in problems. So yeah, thank you everyone. So our project, we thought about creating a tutorial on how to couple different components on LandLab, and yeah, just showing how these components can work together and how we can generate different outputs from them, and yeah, analysis different kinds of scientific questions. So for our project, we worked on trying to understand how vegetation would influence landslides and landscape evolution in a longer term. And when we talk about vegetation in the model, we are only changing values of cohesion to trigger landslides and see how different values of cohesion would trigger different landslides and affect landscape evolution in this longer term. Yeah, so we are going through the tutorial how we constructed it, and yeah, let's see.
So to answer that question, we decided to use different components. We are going to explain them during this notebook, but also we need topography. So at the very beginning, we wanted to work with a synthetic topography, which is really cool. But also we wanted to incorporate as many tools as possible in the tutorial. So we incorporate the tool we have with LandLab to just download topography. And I basically forced my team to work in a place I know because I was really super homesick. So you're going to see a place in the Northern Andes. But yeah, we just wanted to see a place that we really know and how we work with all the LandLab tools we can do. So maybe for other students, they have the same feeling. So basically, we create a grid, we create our DM, but also we put different data in terms of fields. In this case, it's not only elevation, but also soil depth and bedrock elevation. So this is just the way we download the topography with the coordinates. We create a grid, and we did some basic morphometric stuff. So we're going to see how the plot of slope distribution. So as you can see here, is a really like the slope is really high in this place. So also we know we are going to have landslides. You know, we know in this place we have a lot of landslides. So we wanted to know how the different components are going to represent the place we already know. And there are the different components. We just decided we're going to explain them later in the presentation, but basically we wanted to talk, we did a channel profiler, so we use it to incorporate some of the extracts, the channel in the grid. Also, we use the float rotor to have that information. The main component we use is the bedrock landslider to just generate landslides, but also is mainly modeled in the bedrock. So we need to take account with that. So the other components we use is just like to try to the space, to try to understand like large scale eroding processes, and also incorporating diffusion and water. So basically our parameters, we wanted to just keep it simple. So parameters as uplift rates and also erodibility, we just keep it with just regular values. And this is super important in this tutorial because we all just test cohesion, but the main important is like other people can take it and test another model parameters and use it. Sorry. So this is the area, it's really pretty. So you can see the DM. So now.
Yeah, so I do want to mention, this is her field area from before. We've smoothed it. When it gets downloaded, it automatically gets smoothed to get rid of any little bumps and stuff from the artifacts from the DEM. And so in the tutorial, you need to initialize all of the required components with these default values that we chose. So we've initialized the flow router, the bedrock landslider, and the erosion and soil production modules. But the bedrock landslider, because we're testing variable cohesion as a proxy for vegetation, that gets reset every time to check for different values. And then we also run it because we are the long-term group, we decided to run it for 10,000 years. I know for me, that is not actually long-term. That's actually, previously that was one time step in my models, but it is long-term for us. I think it's long-term for everyone. But just to keep this brief for us in modeling this notebook, we kept it 10,000 years with a time step of 100 years. It still takes a while to run, so we've run everything from before. This just shows all of the components that get run, but because you can take different values for all of the properties in like the previous cells, you can change it to whatever you like, and it gets reset for every time you run it. Then you have different things that you can output from the model. So soil depth, landslide sizes, erosion, and then so we get into the results. So mainly we were interested in the distribution of landslides, so the sizes that get predicted, the sediment accumulation, and how the channel profiles change based on different cohesion and the landslides that result. And so this just runs the channel profiler to see the initial channel profile. It's quite long, but so this is the initial channel. This is the main drainage of the DEM. You can see that orange line is the soil depth that you start off with. That is also variable. You can change it to whatever you would like. I think I'm moving the mic a bit too much, but and then after that, it runs the landslide model, and you can output all of the magnitude, frequency, and area distributions. So to briefly go over cohesion, because we weren't really able to change vegetation overall, we decided to use cohesion as a proxy. Through a brief literature review, we found that for arid to like vegetated areas, it ranges from about 500 pascals to all the way up to 25,000. This was just a brief check. I know there are various different studies with this, and so we varied it. We took 3 representative values for it's 1,000, 10,000, and 25,000. But obviously, this is you can run as many values as you want if you have the time. And so this just goes through the loop. So it loops through each cohesion value and then runs it for 10,000 years for each cohesion value, and outputs all of the information that you need, including the channel profiles for each cohesion. So at the end of each cohesion value model. And so this is the landslide area over time plot. So we tracked how landslide areas changed with time. And then these are the final channel profiles with the sediment deposition things. And discussion, we just
So of course, we know we did a lot of assumptions, especially because we only were working with the bedrock landslide. So we're assuming that the landslide were happening in both cases, bedrock and soil. So, but also, so in the future, would be really cool if we can just separate those components in the modeling. In general, it looks like even with all of those assumptions, it's working really well, and it's also plotting different results for the cohesion. So the idea is maybe in the future, some people play with that and try to test other parameters and see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you.